It's only February and the summer season hasn't started, so I didn't expect to make a video about travel chaos at Palma Airport today, but here it is. So join me in my journey from Palma Airport in Mallorca to Bristol in the United Kingdom, way ahead of the 2025 holiday season. So we are starting our journey in a different location this morning. We're actually getting the A11 bus directly from the Marineland car park here over in Portales over to the airport. Now we're lucky enough to get a lift here to the bus stop, which means we also have free bus passes for the year. So we're going to get a free ride to the airport, which is going to save on the cost of this trip. Anyway, the bus is going in about 3 minutes. We're getting the 3 minutes past 9 bus, and hopefully it's going to be on time. And it's about 5 minutes late, but it's here, thank goodness. Just hoping now that the traffic on the motorway won't be too bad. Okay, so the bus took off pretty quickly there, and I actually couldn't make it down to a seat because I'm carrying a suitcase and a bag. Just bear that in mind in the summer. So I'm just catching myself here in this little spot. But it's a direct trip to the airport now, so I'm just going to stand on this journey. It's quite busy actually. But anyway, let's hopefully get there on time, and hopefully that traffic won't be too bad on the motorway on the Via Cintura. Okay, so that was an absolutely brilliant trip, and it got us here a little bit earlier actually, just because there's no traffic on the motorway this morning. I've got here 5 minutes early. But anyway, let's head on into departures. You can see where the bus brings you in, brings you right into departures. So if you are travelling on a budget, you can get that A11 bus from Santa Ponsa, from Magaluf, from Palma Nova, and from Portales, from that Marineland bus stop. Anyway, let's go and check out the departures board today. So the good news is that I can't see any sign of cancellations or delays on the board, but we're going to head straight on through security. We don't have to go to the check-in desk. We've got nothing to check in today. And as you may remember from my previous videos, the security area is on the same level as the check-in desks. So let's head on through. Okay, so we got through pretty quickly in about 10 minutes actually. The bags went through quicker than we did. Now don't forget as well that when you are going through security, you don't need to separate your liquids or your electronics anymore. They all just go through in the one bag. Anyway, let's have a quick look at the board. Okay, so just taking a quick look at the board, I can see that we've got gate info in 10 minutes, but we're heading out of Terminal C today. So that familiar drilling that we've been hearing all over the island over the past few weeks is also taking place at the airport. You can hear it now. They're obviously very busy with the refurbishments here, the full rebuilding of Palma Airport. Now this needs to be done by the season start, which this year I think everything's going to pretty much start around Easter on the weekend. I think it's the 19th. Oh my goodness me, that is pretty noisy, because just looking behind me here, it's going to be the new duty-free area. As you come out of security, I do believe that after looking at the plans back in November, as you come out through security, you're going to have the option to go up to a new restaurant and duty-free shopping centre here before heading on down to your respective terminals. They're completely redoing Terminal A or Module A, which is normally down to our left-hand side. It's going to be a much shorter walk, and actually let's just have a look through this door here. Can't really see very much going on. In fact, I'm right by the pet zone here. If you are travelling into Europe with your animals, that's where you can go and take them for a quick toilet stop before you get onto the plane. But this winter, all the flights going to the United Kingdom or to any other third country, and also to Europe as well, they're all coming out of Terminal C or Module C. So I suspect it's actually going to be quite busy here today. So the duty-free offering that we've got over here in Terminal C is actually pretty small. Quite looking forward to seeing the new improved area where we can hear all the drilling this morning taking place. It's going to be huge. So just looking at the duty-free here, look, I can see they're now doing bottled water for €1.50. It costs the same as what you can pick up in the machines that you're going to find throughout the airport. If you are getting water, the water in like Starbucks or Burger King, it's a lot more expensive. So avoid, if you can, spending more than you need to. Okay, so I regret doing that because you have to actually use the manual scanners to scan your boarding pass, and you have to enter all sorts of information on that little data capture thing at the till as well. Just go over here, look, with a bit of change, €1.50, and get yourself a bottle of water. Try to think how many people have been touching those manual scanners. Anyway, come on, let's go and see the status of the flight. Let's go and see if we have a gate number just yet. So we're just coming up by Starbucks here, where a small orange juice is actually more expensive than some of the teas and the coffees. €5.90. That's super expensive. Anyway, let's go and check the board. And it's all looking good over at Palma Airport this morning. Look, our 11:10 EasyJet flight to Bristol is leaving out of C62, and the boarding time is 10:30. We do have plenty of time, but I think we're just going to head on down that way. So before we head on down towards our gate, I'm just kind of standing in the middle of the airport here, just so you can get an idea of how busy it is today. Thankfully, I can't see any delayed flights on the board. And also, I think we've missed the majority of the half-term travellers. I think most half-termers came out last week. There are a few kids around, but not too many. And of course, we're travelling midweek too. If you've been watching the channel, you'll know from my travel tips that I always recommend travelling midweek, especially on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. We get ever so slightly cheaper flights. It's all looking good today, and look, I'm just panning around here. If you're travelling through Terminal C this summer, we've got lots of cafes, restaurants and shops as well. We'll be flying over to Germany, maybe to Italy and other destinations through this terminal during the summer months. If you are going to the UK, don't forget everything will then be channeled down towards Terminal A or Module A, which, fingers crossed, will be opening at least at the beginning of May. So if you are travelling to the UK, before Terminal A opens, don't forget that you're going to have a little bit of a longer walk through border control, and this is right at the end of Terminal C. And oh my goodness me, look, we're just coming up towards passport control here. The line here to get through passport control this morning is absolutely massive. Check this out. Now, I'm a little bit worried here whether we're going to be able to get to our departure gate on time. Okay everyone, so this is the reason for the massive queues over here in Palma Airport this morning. It's the British passport holders, and even us as residents. We do have residence cards here in Spain. We've got the TIE cards. Everyone is in this queue. Everyone with British passports are in this queue. They're picking out the European passport holders and whizzing them through. But we've got 25 minutes now before our flight is boarding, so fingers crossed we're going to get through on time. And if you think that we're at the back of the queue, well, you're going to be mistaken. Look, check this out. So literally going right the way back into Terminal C. So just looking to my left-hand side here, that you can see the new machines for the EES, for the electronic entry and departure system, which will soon be implemented over here at Palma Airport. Possibly, no date for that just yet. But my goodness, this queue just isn't going down. We've been here for another 5 minutes. Look, the turnaround. It's now extending all the way back into Terminal C, where we've just come from. And look, you can just see the queue, look, it's just not moving at all. I wonder if any of us are going to be getting our flights today. So I've just heard the guy say that there's only 2 police over here. There's only 2 police, and we still can't see the end of the queue here. Can't see where the little police hut is. It feels like it's miles away. But every now and again we get some lucky European passport holders queue jumping here into the second queue. They're going to be able to get the flight today. But the big question is, will we? Who knows? I've been told, as I said, there are only 2 police at border control, and for these hundreds of passengers coming through, I mean, this is February, it's absolutely ridiculous. And we are getting closer. I think we're about 10 minutes away now from the front, but we're also 5 minutes away from boarding. So I think we'll be the lucky ones. We will get our flight today. I'm not so sure about the people behind us. You can see plenty of AINA personnel wandering around, but there's nothing they can do because this is a police issue. It's not actually an airport issue. So I'm just looking at my watch and we've been in the queue now for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. As you can see, lots of airport personnel, but no one really doing anything. What would be actually most useful is the people that are travelling first, getting them to the front of the queue, getting them out and onto their flights and then moving on to the others. But I think there's no organisation here at all. As you can imagine, my advice is to get to the airport ASAP in time for your flight and just to get through security at this time of year, and indeed during the summer too. And we are nearly at the front. I think we're about another 10 people away, which, considering this queue now is extending out through to the airport and to the middle of Terminal C, isn't looking too bad. We're in the best place at least. And we're through, and that took us 15 minutes to get through border control today. Now we're going to have to hightail it over to our flight, which is leaving now. Let's head on down. Okay, so our flight is boarding, but how many people are actually boarding over here today? And how many people are still stuck in that queue? My goodness me, it's been absolutely crazy. Now, very quickly, as the flight is boarding, I'm just going to hop onto the camera now and just say, if you are travelling to the UK before the season starts, make sure you get to Palma Airport in such good time, at least 2.5 hours before your flight. I would say if you're flying to the United Kingdom, even residents are being put into this UK passport queue now. So it was horrific. The queue went from border control with the 2 police on border control all the way back around into Terminal C. Never seen anything like it. People were walking up there literally saying, we need to get our flight is going out in 5 minutes, and the staff were saying, well, we're sorry, you have to join the back of the queue. There was no organisation whatsoever. Now, normally the airlines, if you're at the check-in desks and they're busy, they will call people forward if a flight is about to go, and they'll get those people checked in and on their way, but nothing like that is happening over here at Palma Airport. I did see some AINA staff around, I think maybe just for crowd control and just for telling people to get to the back of the queue, but that was about it. But also make sure you download the airline app with who you're travelling with, because 48 hours ago, and it is partially my fault, I did see a message saying make sure you get to the airport in good time because it's going to be busy. Didn't say anything about border control being an absolute nightmare though, so take my word for it, get to the airport early, and well, you've seen the queues today. Let's just hope it's not going to be like that in summer. Anyway, let's see if our flight is going to be running empty today, but I'm going to go and join the queue now because it is boarding. Now, funnily enough, we're not being bothered by the cabin bag sizes today. I think that would really be the last straw. So let's go and see how empty this flight is today, with all those poor people being left out in the queue. And once again, I've just seen as we were passing through the flight desk there, just coming down towards the plane, I saw a lot of AINA, a lot of airport staff talking to the people, checking people into the flight there. Anyway, come on, let's go on board. Okay, so the big question now is, will our flight be leaving on time? Because, well, it's half empty at the moment. People are still getting on, people are still boarding, and I suspect that many people waiting to get on are still over in the queue trying to get through border control. Now, I don't know what the implications are if you can claim back on a missed flight due to operational reasons at the airport, due to border control and not being enough police there in their booths. I don't know whether you can or not, but I will look into it. So I will include it in an island update in a future video, because I think this may well be a theme going on into the summer. It's all very well updating and upgrading the airport, but if you just don't have the service, if you don't have the border control staff and the police getting people through, how can anyone possibly travel this summer? It's just absolutely crazy. And I know the comments I'm going to get on the channel, I know the comments we're going to see below. You're going to say that Brits are being punished for travelling. They're not. I don't know what the reason is, but you know me, I'm going to try and find out. Okay, and one other point I just want to make as well, if you are travelling with younger kids too, and make sure you book your seats before you fly. I've seen lots of families being separated today as well, with little children having to sit elsewhere because the seats weren't reserved. But this is running very, very full this morning, lots of people on here. Also as well, and this is another issue which I'm going to cover in my news update, but the security, the whole mess at security even extended to residents. There's one lady here travelling with her sons. They have Spanish passports, she has a British passport, and they actually tried to separate her from her children and put them into a different queue, which is absolutely crazy. Anyway, she got through okay, she's on the plane with her kids, but what a mess. What a whole mess with this passport issue. I think we can partially blame Brexit, but I think in this day and age now, we're now in 2025, they need to sort it out at the airport and they need to get the police in. Having two people on that desk isn't good enough, so Palma Airport, sort it out. So I'm just looking down the plane here and I can see quite a few empty seats. I don't think everyone's made it, but we did.
We are now going to take you through the safety features of this aircraft. If it doesn't inflate or needs topping up, blow into the tube. There is a...
Okay, so we're on the move. This flight hasn't waited for anyone and we are departing on time. We're just pushing back here from the gate. Check out the amazing views that we have from our EasyJet flight this morning. Look, you've got a bird's eye view of Palma Cathedral. Now I do absolutely love taking off from Palma Airport. I have to say, queues and border control issues aside, the views that you get of the city are just spectacular. So if you don't get a chance to actually come sightseeing in Palma, on a clear day you get a really good view of the city on the way out on your flight back home. 9 times out of 10 the planes do take off out towards the sea and down along the coast here. And look, we're going to get some really lovely views too of Palma Nova coming up in just a second. I can just see, actually we're flying over home, I can see Cala Mayor Beach right in front of me and Cala Nova Port. And we're taking a right here. We're just around Portals actually, Portals Ilietes. Beautiful views we have right across the island today.
Please keep your seatbelt fastened until the seatbelt sign is switched off. We suggest you keep it fastened whenever you're in your seats. Be careful when you open the lockers, as items may have moved.
So unfortunately we didn't fly over Palma Nova and Magaluf this morning, but we are getting a bird's eye view of the Tramontana Mountains. Are we going to see Soller? Let's have a look. We're just coming up over the north of the island. Can we see Port de Soller in the distance? Let's have a look. And I think that may be Sawyer in the far distance here, quite possibly.
Environmental impacts. We'll be asking you to place recyclable waste in a separate bag as we collect rubbish from you.
So we've got quite a bit of a bumpy ride into Bristol Airport this afternoon. We're just flying over the city here and I can't believe we've actually got blue sky and sunshine. Can't remember the last time I saw this in the UK. But I'm very happy to see it today.
Please disarm doors for arrival.
Thank you, cheers.
Thank you so much. Bye. So I haven't put my coat on, it's absolutely freezing. It's quite cold here today. I think we've got highs of around 10 degrees. We left Mallorca this morning, it's about 15, 16. And look, just having a look at the front of this EasyJet flight here, we've got this quite fancy looking ramp, which is good to see, rather than the smaller steps. And I'm very pleased to see today we're not at the far end of the airport. If you're coming in on Ryanair, you're going to be pretty much having a very long walk to get towards border control over here. But from EasyJet, from this EasyJet flight this morning, looks like we've got a little bit of a shorter walk, which is fantastic. Gosh, it's so cold. I've got to get my coat out. I'll get it out when I get in. Oh, I can't believe it. Getting to the UK and we've got queues at border control here too. It's not just in Spain. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Maybe several flights have arrived in at once. I can't film inside the border control, the passport control checking area, but all I can say is it's full. And you never see this over at Bristol Airport ever. I don't know what's going on today in Europe. What is going on? Okay, so getting through passport control took just 10 minutes today. It moved quite quickly actually, probably because most passengers can actually use those new electronic gates. Anyway, we're here, we've made it. I'm going to have a good think actually. I'm going to review that video from over at Palma Airport. I do have some suggestions, I do have more comments about it too. So join us on our travels back to the island. We're travelling back to Mallorca in a few days. Let's see how that journey goes. Let's see what the arrival experience is like over at Palma Airport right at the beginning of March. So coming out into a very busy arrivals hall. Thank you very much for joining me. In the meantime, you can find me in the Facebook group and on my Instagram, also called Mallorca Under the Sun, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Goodbye for now.